Hey, what's on, guys? So I've got some more news on Spider-Man PS4. So all the info that I'm going to be talking about is post E3 2017, which means, all of the conferences for all the companies have ended, and they've just pretty much just been showing like just interviews with like the team behind the games and then the creative directors and all those people, and like what kind of information and details they can give us about whatever game that they're showing. So recently, creative director Brian Inuthara, I don't know if I said that right, I apologize if I didn't. He's the creative director on Spider-Man PS4, and he sat down with IGN and a few other sources on YouTube. And he pretty much talked about what makes this Spider-Man different from previous iterations in games, and he also talked about a bunch of other things. So I'm going to give you guys the overall rundown of all the details that he gave, and then I'll give you guys my thoughts on what I think about those details. So pretty much apart from those things, he also talked about how this Spider-Man is different from previous Spider-Mans. He talked about certain gameplay mechanics. He talked a little bit about what kind of characters we could see in this game, what kind of like villains, and a few other things. So let's jump right into this. So first off, Brian said that this Spider-Man is 23 years old. He's not in high school, and he's graduated from college, and he's struggling to balance his life as Peter Parker and as Spider-Man. And as Peter Parker, his job, which Brian confirmed, is actually as a scientist. It's not as the Daily Bugle taking photos. Because Brian said he sees Peter as a really smart guy, and he is. So this seems more appropriate for Peter to be doing instead of taking photographs or Daily Bugle. I think being a scientist is a little bit more appropriate. Brian also said that the part where Spider-Man meets Mr. Negative for the first time, he refers to Mr. Negative as Martin Lee and not Mr. Negative, because Martin Lee is actually the guy he's Aunt May's boss at Aunt May's office, and she works for this place called Feast, which, if you guys don't know, is like a charity organization that Aunt May works for. Pretty much like help the homeless, like bring them food and stuff. And then Brian also said that they're going to be introducing a lot of obscure characters that a lot of people don't really know except for hardcore fans, and then they're also going to be introducing characters that everybody knows and loves. So it's going to be a mixture of those two kind of characters and really shine light on the obscure ones.
Willie.
This next part, I'm not really sure if he said it by accident or if I misinterpreted this, but Brian said that when you see Kingpin in the game, Spider-Man's already put him away, and Brian actually said that you put him away in the very beginning of the game, and this mission that you see at E3 takes place right after that. So I don't know if he was supposed to say that or if that counts as like a spoiler-ish kind of thing, maybe. I don't know. But anyways, let's move on from that. Brian also said that the game is packed with tons of Easter eggs, which we should definitely keep an eye out for. And some other details that he mentioned were that they went through a ton of different suit concepts. The one that we see in the game right now, there's a bunch of different versions before this, and then they finally all agreed on this one. And everybody has their own like problems with this suit, because I know a lot of people still aren't happy with the way the suit looks. Everyone's always questioning, why is Spider white on the suit? I mean, why is it like massive? And Brian said that there's actually a reason for that that's actually explained in the story, so I'm curious to see what that reason would be. And he also touched on more specifics on the mechanics in the game, like web slinging. He said there's a lot of physics that were implemented into it, and they really took time to perfect that. And they also said that the webs actually do attach to buildings. It's not just like spun up right into the sky or whatever. It actually attaches to buildings, so that's good. And then some other details that he mentioned were the mission that we saw at E3, that they showed like a condensed version of that mission, because the actual mission, there's way more workers that you actually have to save, not just a couple of these guys. There's way more. So he gave that out, and that's pretty much all information that he talked about. Now I'm going to give you guys my thoughts. So first off, I think the fact that they're using an older, more experienced Spider-Man definitely works. I was getting tired of seeing one that's fresh out of high school. He doesn't have a whole lot of experience. I got tired of seeing that, and I like this perspective a lot more. I can't say too much about like what he means with the whole like Martin Lee's thing. That's from their perspective, so I'm gonna let that be. I'm hoping that works out the way that they want it to. And the next thing is the job that Peter has. The fact that he's a scientist makes me question, is he working for Kurt Connors? Because if he is, then there's a good chance we're going to see the Lizard as appears one of the villains in the game. Probably not as like one of the major pieces. Well, actually it could be one of the major pieces, because Brian said that in most Spider-Man games nowadays, everybody focuses on Spider-Man and they kind of just like leave Peter Parker half on the sidelines. So Brian really said that they really wanted to make Peter Parker's world and Spider-Man's world collide, which causes conflict and creates a much more interesting and dynamic story. So with that said, I definitely see the Lizard being one of the main villains, or like, I don't know, maybe Kurt Connors could be the villain, maybe not the Lizard himself, but Kurt Connors, or I don't know, I'm just throwing stuff out there. But yeah, that really begs the question as to, is Peter actually working for Kurt Connors? If so, what are we going to see, the Lizard or what? And it's just, there's a ton of questions. Whenever these guys bring up any new details about the game, it just makes us question the game more. Like, is this going to happen? Is this character going to be in there? What does this do? And all these kind of other questions. So that's really cool. I really like that. And then the last detail I want to talk about is, like, when we could see more of this game, because Insomniac said that 2018 is a time frame, and they're hard at work on it. So I would say we should expect something at. Actually, I don't want to say we should expect it. I'd say it's possible that there might be some more details at San Diego Comic-Con 2017, and then after that maybe at PSX. That's the big PlayStation conference, so there's a higher chance of something being there. And then at the Game Awards all the way in December. So those are the 3 places for the rest of this year where I can see Insomniac giving us more details on this game. That's all I've got for you guys. Just giving you guys a quick rundown of all the details that Insomniac and the creative director Brian Inethara revealed about Spider-Man, or that he could at least post E3. If there is more information that comes out within the following days, I'll update you guys on that. But if not, then this is all we've got, and I'll keep updating you guys as we get more new information from future events. If you enjoyed the video, remember to smack that like button. That's always appreciated. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. And if you're new, hit that subscribe button for more content like this. See you guys next time.